Hello world, from whichever time zone you're catching me from, my name is MD90. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification to all so that you do not miss the uploads that come up. And the easiest way for you to navigate the channel is to head to the playlist. You'll find videos curated for you based on your interest. So if you're interested in the Critical podcast, you'll find a playlist for that. For news and trends, there's a playlist for that. Exclusive with MD90, a bunch of playlists that are created based on your interest. So the easiest way to navigate the channel is head straight to the playlist and you'll find what you're here for. Consider becoming a member of the channel. Right next to the subscribe button is a join button. You click on the join button so that you can become a member of the channel. You support the team on the production and a number of things that we're doing here, and we appreciate that.
Well, Edgar Chagwa Lungu's family has finally replied in court. As you may be aware, the Zambian government, through the Attorney General, sued the Edgar Chagwa Lungu family with regard to the repatriation of the body of Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Last week, the government, through the Attorney General, presented their case, and then the court asked the lawyers representing Esther Lungu and the children to also reply. So the reply by Esther Lungu's children and herself has been publicized as of yesterday. So what you see on screens, those are some of the documents that were publicized by Emmanuel Mwamba, one of the people from the family side, but in as much as he's in the US. So these are the details from that. So here are the details from that. So it says government has no right to the remains of Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Some of the contents in that particular those screenshots that you saw on screen. So the family has stated that efforts by the Attorney General to assert authority over the late President Lungu's remains were not not only legally unfounded, but also morally and diplomatically inappropriate. Lawyers for the family of the late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu has submitted to the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria Division that the Zambian government has no authority or right to the remains of the late president, and demanded that Attorney General, as demanded by the Attorney General of Zambia. The lawyers were responding to the submission made by Zambia's Attorney General Mulilo Kabesha, who asserted that the state was entitled to repatriate the body of the late President Lungu for purpose of holding a state funeral and burial at Embassy Park in Lusaka, Zambia. Kabesha also claimed that the Zambian laws dictated that the state of Zambia was to decide the manner and place of burial of the previous Zambian head of state. But the lawyers for the family dismissed the assertion and stated that the argument presented by and advanced by the Attorney General attempted to illustrate that the benefits of former President Act of 1993, Chapter 15 of the laws of Zambia, gives necessary right of the Attorney General to decide this issue. This was purportedly in accordance with the traditions and customs of the state, but the family rejected this and stated that the Zambian government had no locus standi or enforceable rights in South African law to compel the repatriation of the remains of the late President Lungu. The lawyer submitted that the application was therefore legally unsustainable and factually flawed and impermissible in the context of the South African law of South African Constitution 108 of 1996. The family stated that the relief sought by the Attorney General undermined the Constitution and the common law of rights of the family, including the rights of dignity, family life, and cultural practice. They stated that the application made by the Attorney General sought to invoke a purported Zambian protocol and the customs which had no extrajudicial, let me just expand this, stated that let me see, where was I? Oh yes, that stated that the efforts by the Attorney General to assert authority over the late President Lungu's remains, therefore, not only legally unfounded, but also morally and diplomatically inappropriate. The family stated that they were entitled to the remains, and not only as the surviving next of kin, but also as parties to their allied and wishes of the late President Lungu. They stated that the opposition to repatriate the application was therefore rooted in South African legal principles and the late President Lungu's human rights and the constitutional values and dignity and autonomy and respect for the family, cultural, and personal choices. So that's the argument coming from the Lungu family with regard to the court case in South Africa. While his Chifetayali is on the attack again. As you may be aware, he felt a death scare past couple of days, but he's back. So he says, if Esther Lungu was not selfish, referring to the former first lady, if Esther Lungu was not selfish to influence Edgar Chagwa against this man, referring to the picture that he attached there of Brand Munduwile. Because if you remember at some point, Chifetayali had endorsed Brand Munduwile as a candidate when the PF candidates were fighting in as presidential candidates, when there was the likelihood of a convention to be held just after PF lost the elections. So Brand Munduwile was one of the candidates. So according to Chifetayali, he's arguing to say the former first lady is the one that badmouthed Munduwile against Edgar Lungu's endorsement. That's according to Chifetayali there. This man, now we would have a very powerful opposition to challenge the United Party for National Development and UPND. Don't underestimate Esther Lungu. That is why she is holding on to the body so that she can continue ruling Patriotic Front indirectly. Just wait for me, I recover. So he argues to say the former first lady has some interest of running the Patriotic Front. I don't see the value where Chifetayali is standing in with that argument. Because if you remember at some point, he had argued to say Makebi Zulu is the one who was influencing the family so that he can work his way around to become president. Now he's changed the same mouth. Now he's saying that no, it's actually the former first lady that wants to control the Patriotic Front. I honestly don't see that. She honestly doesn't look like one who has any political ambition. Even the time that she was first lady at the time, she really tried to stay off the grid. But anyway, and then he goes further to say this is still Chifetayali. The all South African nonsense and the machinations of Esther Lungu, and she's used machinations of Esther Lungu, and she's using Makebi Zulu because he is naive to think he can be president. So she says, according to Chifetayali, he argues to say the former first lady is one who's using Makebi Zulu. But earlier on, he had said Makebi Zulu was using the family so that he can push his presidential ambition and agenda. So he's all over the place with his arguments there. And then some of the documents that the family had also presented in the South African High Court during the recent response to Attorney General was this program which is alleged to have been published by the Zambian government of how the program was supposed to flow when Edgar Chagwa landed in Zambia and the process. So according to Emmanuel Mwamba, he says a church service at a designated place was not and was nowhere in the detailed agreement. So he says, according to the agreement that the family of of Edgar Chagwa and the Zambian government, there was no church service that was later included by the Zambian government, which shows there at 14:30. According to that agreement. So agreement is an agreement. He goes further to say that's Emmanuel Mwamba. This is not in the agreement. Who was going to attend this service? He asked. Where was it? Where was this short service to be at a designated place going to take place? Who was going to preside over this? Was the body viewing going to take place like it usually happens to every church service where the body is? If it was, it's important. It should have been included. It was very important that it be included in the agreement. So he says pretty much the agreement was breached by the state, and that's why they refused to bring the body that day. And then he goes further to show the program, which was published on Wednesday, 18th July 2025, according to Emmanuel Mwamba, saying. But the secretary to the cabinet later on responded to say. Only his office could publicize the program, but it seems like it's been admitted in as a part of the evidence in South Africa. We wait and see how that plays out. To which Oliver Shalala responded to Emmanuel Mwamba when he put up that particular program. So he says, so Oliver Shalala is a UPND or pretty much President Hakainde Hichilema supporter, and he says, it is not only, it was not going to be private. The army chaplain is a Catholic father who was promoted recently. Why were you so scared of the short service conducted by one of your own when you know this always happens? He asks Madam Wamba. All the state funerals start with a short mass at the airport, he says. Secondly, you know by protocol that the body of former president had to be scanned by the customs office on arrival as a requirement by law for all cargo that comes in. This was going to happen at this point. Surely he didn't want the program to read scanning of the casket, did you? He has to say. Part of the what is regarded as a short church service, he says it was the scanning of the body of Edgar Lungu when it landed at the airport as part of the customs. You didn't expect that to be included in the program, so that's his argument. And then Emmanuel Wamba responded to say, an agreement is an agreement. This was not in the agreement. Family did not want anybody viewing or non-prayers done. So that's a response by Emmanuel Wamba to Oliver Shalala. There, and that's Oliver Shalala. He's on overdrive defending the president everywhere. He's doing his job. Every comment section, you'll find him and he's putting up posts. So there was another issue that had come up with regard to the land issue, as you may be aware. So he was on that also defending the president. I'll read you that later on with regard to the land. But Bino Mpundu had put up this particular article just a couple of 4 hours ago, in fact, where you're stating this to say, the United Party for National Development, UPND, is a criminal organization zone. They want to change the land law to give power to an appointee of the president to be cancelling people's title deeds. So they now want the president and minister and their cadres to be going to the Ministry of Lands, to intimidating the commissioners and lands to help them grab people's lands, especially their political opponents. That thinking can only come from criminals, according to Bino Mpundu there. It goes further to say, Zambians must start seeing the United Party for National Development, UPND, for what they really are, and now need to unite, especially as young people, to save the country from such criminal-minded people. I don't know if he's forming a political party. He's been tagging that a couple of days now. And then Oliver Shalala put up this particular post, which was carried by the Daily Nation as a news headline, where some plots are alleged to have been grabbed from. Anyway, I will give you details, but what the caption that I tried to say, President Hakainde Hichilema visited Palavana University in April this year, where he put up those pictures where he accompanied the president. He promised to repossess land from who encroached on the university land. So it seems like there was some encroachment that had happened to the university land for Palavana, and he was saying that that's the land that has been grabbed back. But Bino Mpundu, on the other hand, is in court over seditious charges. So he's been officially charged for sedition. And is likely to be in court. So the details in that I'll give you as we go on. So these are the details with regard to that news headline. So they say Nkana lawmaker Bino Mpundu has been charged with seditious practice and is scheduled to take plea next month after failing to appear in court yesterday due to ill health. So he couldn't appear in court yesterday. Mr. Mpundu is supposed to take plea before the Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chiwiri. Allegations leveled against allegations leveled against him, accused of linked to utterances he made on December 20th, 2024 in relation to the purported abduction of ex-Peter Uke, member of Parliament JJ Banda. So that's a seditious practice that is being charged with, and he couldn't take plea, but he's likely to take plea next month. And then Ali Shubinga's contract with the Electoral Commission of Zambia expired when your contract is expired, your employer can choose to renew it or not. Which so pretty much responding to there's been that fight to say the president is simply appointing people that are aligned with him at the ECZ. So that was a response coming from the UPND, simply saying that no, that person simply his contract had run its course and the president simply didn't renew his contract. So it's not that he was uprooted from that institution, which is a authority given to the appointing authority to either renew or not renew. So he simply opted not to renew that particular contract. And then Chitambala Mwewa, Simon Mwewa says, Raphael Nakachinda has said that only Patriotic Front president will lead the Tonse Alliance. So he alleges to say that statement came from Raphael Nakachinda. And then Modric in the comment section responds, so it means Chavinga is now or gets an endorsement. So he loves to say, because according to the documents, it seems like Chavinga is the Patriotic Front president. So if Raphael Nakachinda says it's only a PF president can lead that, does he mean Robert Chavinga? Anyway, that's just some jokes there. And then government to recruit some of the health workers who were laid off following the withdrawal of the US aid funding, says Secretary to the Treasury. So according to that, some people get their jobs back after Donald Trump cancelled US aid pretty much. And then I report to the president, but he has never instructed me to arrest anyone. That's according to Drug Enforcement Commission boss. He says no. Yes, he reports to the president, but he has never received an instruction from the president to arrest any individual. And then that's a government grabs 1,500 Palawana plots. So gives the residents 14 days ultimatum to surrender their title deeds or face legal action for the pieces of land they were offered in 2017 and obtained their title deeds after it was discovered that the land in question was designated for Palawana University expansions. So that's the one artificial I was referring to earlier on when I said I'll show you the news headline as we proceed. And then the mass newspaper says citizens reject bad land bill, so that conversation still continues. And that's what also Bini Wampund was referring to when he put up that article earlier on about 4 hours ago. And then news diggers say syndicate moved 75 million US dollars to Asia. FIC Trends Report Review. According to this should be a Zamsa related news headline. And then newlywed's wife killed in Tanzania as Tanzania and her husband flees the country after the crime. And then Rhoda has been put on suspension and she's on half salary. What is Botswana president is to be in Zambia, as you may be aware, should be the next couple of days we are going to be having the show or the agriculture show in Lusaka, and it seems like the guest of honor is the Botswana's president, sitting president. So he's going to fly into Zambia and do that. That simply means that President Hakainde Hichilema is going to attend this particular showgrounds, because if a head of state visits is supposed to be made by the incumbent or sitting president. But there was an argument earlier on where people were saying he did not attend the trade fair. But the president said that until we bury Edgar Lungu, mostly I think he's going to only be attending events that are happening in the capital city, Lusaka. And then anything that is out of the country or out of the city, the president won't be there. It seems like he will delegate. Now, considering that the showground is happening just in the backyard here, just behind the arcades, seems like the president will be present there. Hence, he has invited his counterpart from Botswana to be part of that. And that's the news, ladies and gentlemen.